Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Ninja News. I was just thinking about the other day, I was with one of my friends and he was telling me that fame is a curse. I don't believe that, because Jesus is famous, right? Anyway, I was thinking about, talking about to each they reach, you know? If you just want to sit down and work your whole life, that's good. But if you're a creative artist, you need to get out and be creative. I mean, when I started doing martial arts, and I just enjoyed it. So I did it every day, kicking and punching and flipping off trees and doing kicks and watching kung fu movies. That just became my thing to do. Next thing you know, I end up becoming a black belt and doing shows and performances and tournaments, competing in tournaments, became a world champion. But it was all because it was a desire. It wasn't a desire to be famous, it was just a desire to do what I enjoyed doing. And it just so happens that I was also into photography. So later on, one of my teachers brought me a movie camera and I started filming little movies. Uh-oh, Chico met a friend. Oh well, see, you never know what's gonna happen next. You just gotta stay creative and keep on moving. Anyway, I thought about that movie camera. Made a movie, took it to one of my studios that I was training at, Grandmaster Kenny Yoon. I put on a Chinese Connection movie, and he's like, "Oh, take that off. I don't want to see Kung Fu. I don't want to see Kung Fu." So I said, "No, I got one of my videos, one of my movies actually, it was movies then." He's like, "Okay, let's watch Chucky's movie." And then when I played it, everybody liked it, and I like making movies, you know. Do what you like doing, as long as you ain't tearing nobody else down. I mean, you know, like they say, to each they reach. Next thing you know, I end up working in movies. One of the first sets I worked on was with Don the Dragon Wilson. It was called Cyber Tracker 2. I won the Hollywood action contest down in Burbank. And Don just happened to be there, Don the Dragon Wilson. And it was given by Grandmaster Byung Yu. I performed to Bad by Michael Jackson, and I won the grant, which helped me to get into the union. The Screen Actors Guild was one of the vouchers that guaranteed me to be able to get into the union. So later on, many years, I ended up getting into the union, because I ended up working in more movies. But that particular day when I was on the set, I remember they told me, "Oh, you're not going to be doing nothing but background. You're just going to be walking across the screen. This is not your big break." I mean, it's funny how people come up and put obstacles in front of you. But later on, I found out Richard Pryor and Chuck Norris both told me that's just the way it is. Some things will never change. You get your people who try to do things, and you get your people who don't care to try to do things. But life goes on. Next thing later on, I end up going down to Encino, where I got to meet Michael Jackson. Started out going to my cousin's studio, Grandmaster Michael McNeely. Went to his studio, went to lunch, ended up finding out that Richard Pryor lived in the neighborhood. So I packed my bags, my resume and everything, and got on the bike and went for a hike. I found out by going to a restaurant in the beginning. To a restaurant, the guy looked like Richard Pryor, so I told him, "Hey man, you remind me of Richard Pryor." He said, "A lot of people say that. You know he lives in this area?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, just a couple of miles up the road." So I got on my bike with my backpack, my resume, got to this area, and I asked the postman, "Does Richard Pryor live around here?" He goes, "Yeah, you're really close." He goes, "But I can't tell you where it is because this is not part of my job." I was like, "No problem." So this little kid rides up on this little bike, and I was like, hey man, does Richard Pryor live around here? He goes, yeah, he lives right there. And it was this big old wall, and I got to see the guy who was gardening and cutting the leaves on this ladder that was about 7 feet tall. I asked the guy, could I look over the wall? He let me, and I saw the white Rolls Royce in the big yard, and I was like, wow, Richard Pryor's house, my goodness. So they told me, yeah, this is his house. So I was like, well, I got my backpack out, and I put my resume in his mailbox. I didn't have no stamps or nothing like that. I just put it in the mailbox. And the next thing you know, I get back to the studio, and my cousin's like, Chucky, how you going to be going around just putting stuff in people's mailboxes? Hey, man, if it's in you to do it, do it. I mean, hey, next thing you know, the phone rang. And my cousin's like, hey, Chucky, it's Richard Pryor. And I thought he was like joking. I go, man, get out of here. He goes, no, it's Richard Pryor. I go, whatever, man. He goes, no, it's Richard Pryor. And I go, man, you kidding. He goes, no, I'm serious. So I got on the phone, and the voice, it was Richard Pryor. He goes, this is Richard Pryor. I go, yeah, right. I thought my cousin had somebody try to prank me. He goes, this is Richard. He goes, I was really impressed when I saw your stuff in my mailbox. You have so much talent to do that. When I didn't see no stamp, I knew that I had to contact you. I had to meet you. He goes, this is our last weekend of filming, but I would like for you to come down to the set of JoJo Dazzler. And it's going to be at this theater, this address, and all of that. So, hey, guess what? Next thing you know, I was on my way. I caught a cab. I didn't know how far it was going to be. And we're riding in this cab for like so much time. I'm like, oh my God, I ain't got enough money for this. Because it was like such a long trip. But then after we got there to the theater, the driver said, you know what, man? Because I was telling them stories about my career, how I went to Hawaii and all of these different things. And he said, you know what? This ride is on me. And I was like, what? That was a miracle. So I got to go into the theater. The lady, first thing she said, don't nobody go into the theater. You just stay out in the lobby. You go in the theater, you got to get kicked off the set. I told the lady, okay. But later on, I went upstairs. I looked inside, and I was like, I got to get downstairs. I got to get in there. That's just how I felt. So I got inside. The next thing, I sat down. I was watching. It was an empty theater, just beautiful, clean. The stage was like black shellac with white light bulbs. I mean, Hollywood cameras and lighting. I was like, this is beautiful. So next thing, I sat down way in the back, and the first guy came out. He went to check the mic. I guess it was Richard's double, because I was like, that's not Richard. So I sat there. A few minutes later, a lady came up to me. She said, didn't I say stay in the lobby? And I was like, you know what? I'm Richard's guest. She goes, we're all Richard's guests. I go, no, Richard called me personally and told me to come down here. She goes, okay, well, we'll see. So she walks up to the stage, and she walks onto the stage. All of a sudden, this director comes up. Hey, what are you doing on the stage? Ain't nobody supposed to be walking on the stage. What are you doing? Oh, well, this guy said that Richard hired him, and I was trying to get some people to see if he had hired him. And whatever, who told you to walk on the stage? Get off the stage. The stage, we waxed the stage all night. Polished it. So, no, get off. So he went back and came back out with this lady, and the lady says, oh, yeah. I said, I'm Chucky Currie. Richard hired me, told me to come down. She goes, yeah, Chucky Currie, no problem. This is Richard's guest. He's okay. He could be wherever he wants to. He's VIP. And the lady was like, argh. She was mad. But I just went on and sat back down in the back. A few minutes later, Richard Pryor came out, and he was checking his mic, and I got up. I went down to him. I go, excuse me, Mr. Pryor. He goes, hey, how you doing, young man? I go, pretty good. I shook his hand. I go, I'm Chucky Currie. He goes, what? You're Chucky Currie? He goes, I was expecting some big 6'5" MF. And it's just you? I go, yeah. He goes, so you could just kick my ass, take me and throw me all around? I go, man, I'm on your team. He goes, I guess you are. Because if you wasn't, you would be beating me down. I was like, oh my God. And then he looked down and said, that's my bodyguard. He's supposed to be looking out for you. He's down there running his mouth. And I was like, oh man, don't worry, I'm on your team. He goes, obviously. He said, make yourself at home, man. Be comfortable. I said, okay. So I went, sat back down. I was like, oh, man, wow, this is amazing. And the next thing you know, I was outside, sitting down, playing my music, Pop Life Prince and stuff like that, just chilling out. And then I saw the bodyguard. The bodyguard started throwing this knife at this tree. He was like really upset, I guess, because Richard wouldn't talk to him. So the next thing, the bodyguard walked down to me I had the music up a little bit. He's like, turn that damn music down. And the way he said it, it's like, you know what? I ain't turning nothing down. So my friends who was with me, they turned the music down, and he started walking back. I turned the music back up. He came back down. He said, didn't I say turn that damn music down? And my friends looked at me, and they turned it down again. So when he left, I turned the music back up. That's just how I felt. It's like he don't just talk to me like I'm some dog. A few minutes later, Richard Pryor come walking down. He said, Chuck, man, can you turn down the music a little bit? We're trying to fit the sound, get the sound system together. I go, yeah, no problem. It's just the guy, he came up and was yelling at me. He goes, oh, no problem. Don't worry about it. Just go over there and get yourself some lunch. I go, I'm not hungry. He goes, yeah, all that's pressure, just like Michael Jackson. He goes, I went to Michael's house, and he was late at his own house, like an hour late, and I'm in the house. And he comes marching down the stairs with a monkey on his shoulder. Now that's stress. That's what happens. He goes, I could give you $1 million right now, but it could cause you to like die because there's so much stress. With $1 million, you get 1 million friends, 1 million enemies. Everything is times 1 million. And he said, go over there and, he goes, when Michael did come down those stairs, there was a whole bunch of chefs and stuff lined up at this table. And Michael went over and grabbed one strawberry and dipped it in some peanut butter and just kept on walking, came over and talked to me. And I said, don't worry, I'm not eating no strawberries. I don't like strawberries. So Richard started laughing. He goes, well, just go over there and get some lunch. And see how they are. A lot of people are like vultures. So I walked across the street, and crows was flying everywhere, paper plates, and people all over the place. Plates all on the tables, leftover food, just a mess. And I was like, man, that's crazy. So the lady said, you Richard's guest, huh? She goes, well, let me get you some food. So she set me up a plate. Then I was remembering, Richard said, he goes, Chucky, I can make you a millionaire with $1 million, but you'll get 1 million friends, 1 million enemies, everything times 1 million. So you'll need 1 million lawyers, because you got to have one lawyer to cover the next lawyer, 1 million doctors, 1 million bros, 1 million hoes, everything times 1 million. 1 million friends, 1 million uncles, 1 million aunties. Everybody want to be your friend when you got the million. So go see how they are now, see how they treat you now while you're struggling. That's how you can really tell how the people are. Because once you make it, it'll be like a whole bunch of clowns. They all running up, smiling, everybody want to be your friend. So I was like, dang, what a trip. So later that day, I went back home to the studio where I was staying at. And I was teaching one of my cousin's students. The student said, man, I know Michael Jackson. I go, you know Michael Jackson? He goes, yeah, man, my mother's a lawyer. My daddy is a doctor. I could take you to his house. Next thing you know, we was loading up, getting in his Porsche. He drove me down. We went through town, got to Michael's house. There was these 2 girls sitting outside. I was like, is this Michael Jackson's house? They go, yeah, this is Michael's house. We've been coming down here for the last 3 years. We ain't never seen him. I said, well, you don't see him today. She's like, I don't know. He ain't never came out. A few minutes later, a limousine pulled up, so I started dancing and doing karate in front of the camera. The limousine just pulled on in. I was like, that's okay. It'll be another limo. Another limousine, sure enough, did show up. And I was like, what? And I started doing kicks and punches, and all of a sudden the window went down. I was like, the glove, the glove. Michael was waving the glove. He got out the car. After the gate closed, he came over to the gate. He goes, man, that's fantastic. Where'd you learn that? And I was like, Michael, you're bad. He goes, no, you're bad. I go, Michael, you're bad. He goes, no, you're bad. I said, Michael, you've been bad since ABC. Then the two of us need look no more. And he started laughing. He said, well, I really appreciate it. It's good to know that some people think a lot about your talent, really respect it. He said, but I think you got what it takes to be a megastar. Just don't let nobody or nothing stop you. Nobody or nothing. And I was like, oh, cool, thanks, Michael. I said, do some moves. And he went and popped and did some moves and even did the back moon slide. I was like, man, Michael, you're bad, dude. He goes, no, you're bad, dude. So I just laughed, and that was a great day. So anyway, I just was telling you that. That's just one of my stories that happened in my life. Just wanted to influence you to whatever's in your heart to do. Have faith in God and go for it. Now, like I said, if you don't have no desire for movies or acting or martial arts, it's all good. Do what makes you happy, because I'm going to do what makes me happy. And making me happy is making movies and doing martial arts and being on the set and staying creative as a martial artist, filmmaker, writer, and producer. Constantly working on my own projects. Like right now, I'm working on I Am Weapon. And I talked to my filmmaker today. and it's on. We're just doing little parts here and there, because making a movie, it's like putting a whole bunch of little parts together. You know, you got to stay creative, writing, and, you know, coming up with different ideas, and, you know, it's a lot of fun to me. I mean, you know, like I said, if that's not what you want to do, I'm not telling you what to do. Do your thing. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. As a matter of fact, I met the director of, the producer of the Rush Hour series. Recently, I've been back in contact with them, so they are making Rush Hour 4. And hopefully I'll get a chance to be a part of it, you know. I mean, hey, it's all good. So I looked up Arthur's information, and I checked out his one of the videos. He was talking about making movies. He's like, if you really want to make movies, you want to do movies, it might take a week, it might take a year, it might take, who knows, 25 years. But if it's really hard to do it, do it. So I was so happy to hear that, and I just passed that video on today to my friend. Told him, check that out, it's interesting, you got to get onto it. It's so interesting. So thank you so much, Arthur, for being my friend and telling me about the Rush Hour series, and that it's going to be Rush Hour 4. I appreciate that. And I'm just glad to know that exactly the producer of it. I mean, you know, hey. But like I said, if you don't go for it, you won't get it. So the choice is yours. You can sit around and just be a fisherman, or you could be a fisherman who goes out and tell people about Jesus. Hallelujah. So I do that, and I do my films. So until next time, everybody, do your thing. Stay positive. For every action, there's an opposite and inner reaction. Do your studies. And if you could believe it, you could achieve it. So until next time, thanks so much for watching the Ninja News. God bless. Don't stress. Just always do your best. It'll all work out. If you could believe it, you could achieve it. Peace and love.